were in that program in 1995 from John Muir High School in Pasadena. Please join me on stage to honor them, Kitchen, Joanna Moore and Tony Staples. So Joanna, I'm going to do a little bit of an interview. Hi, Tony. You can stand over here. Okay, good. So very briefly, I want you both to kind of give us a little bit of understanding of perhaps what this program has meant in your life and what it did for you. Joanna?
Spiritual awakening has been a life. I told Akuyo this morning when I saw her again after so many years. It wasn't just life-changing, it was life-saving. And I may not personally have felt all of the risk that I was in externally, but I was feeling so much at risk internally and had no space to share that with anyone until Akuyo opened up this opportunity for me and for so many others. And I remember going to my first workshop, and we were told to find a quiet space to sit and to reflect on who we were. And it was amazing to be forced into the understanding that who I was important enough to merit that time. And it's been a blessing to carry that with me through life as an adult, through someone who works with young children, through someone who has worked in the healthcare community. And now I'm actually back at John Muir High School teaching young children and enjoying it. And I know that it's in a huge part because of my experience with Spirit Awakening, that those children are able to see in me someone who sees the value in them. And I just am so grateful to Lynn and to Akuyo and to the program. I am who I am because of the work that I was privileged to do with you. Thank you.
You know, before I give the microphone to Tony, I just want you to know we had so much fun. Saturdays, we would go from house to house and hold our writing program. Sometimes the school was closed, and it was just amazing. And parents were so happy because on a Saturday, their teenage children were in a writing club writing, you know, and going through philosophy. So it was, and we wrote a screenplay that we still hope to make into a film one of these days. It was, you know, as much as they say the program gave to them, they have given to me in my life 1,000, a millionfold. Mm-hmm. So Tony, tell us a little about maybe your experience with the program.
My experience, well, it's funny that she mentions shootings and stabbings and things like that, because I was part of the student body that had things to do with that type of stuff. I knew the people that was involved. I might be involved to a certain extent, but Akuyo didn't know that because I wanted her respect and I wanted her to think that I was just a good guy and a good writer, you know. But she didn't even know how much she really was saving me every day, and I'm just in awe. And I feel privileged to be there from the ground floor. One thing that I learned for myself being in the workshop is that the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. So it's a very, very powerful question, who am I? A lot of kids that grow up the way that I did in a single parent home and a family that's just like ravaged by gang violence, we don't really take the time to ask those type of questions to ourselves. You know, like, who am I? So when Akuyo asks you to think about that, it really kind of opens up your head and you start exploring different areas in your mind. And when you start from there, you start to look at people the same way. And then you start to read people. Why do you do this? Who are you? Why do you act that way? You know, kind of like auras and spirits from people. You can feel it and you can see it, and then you just take that and you just treat the world different.
Human beings stuck in a transition. A transition which began while being incarcerated in juvenile hall. All it took was a seed being planted by one miraculous woman. A woman who carries such an enormous amount of positive energy. It's literally impossible to try to avoid, much less ignore. Being sent to prison from juvenile hall, my transition began to manifest much rapidly. How can we imprison a man? It's a beautiful feeling knowing you're on the correct path, finding yourself, especially when this beautiful person continues to be part of my journey. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
From a plantation to a platform, a queen is born. It's no coincidence that Akuyo came into my life. It's like Akuyo knew Akila and Akila was by my side. He asked me if I wanted to go to this trip to Africa, and I said yes, but was scared to go after it and took a chance and captured it. So, thank you, Akuyo, for coming into my life and never leaving my side. You're like an angel in disguise. With Spirit Awakening, I don't have to hide my flaws. I can be me. It's like you go underneath my skin and my flesh and heal wounds I can't see. So thank you, Akuyo, for giving and never taking. Because Spirit Awakening is a part of the village that raised me.
I've always kept a journal. Since I was in 2nd grade, I loved to write. As a matter of fact, I was looking at a journal of mine from 2013, sentenced to 6 months, Camp Scott at age 17. This was the turning point in my life. I was in a vicious familiar cycle and I just couldn't get it right. I'm so grateful that I got caught that night. Because there's been many times in the past I believe I should have lost my life. I'm still living, still forgiven, and I'm so thankful for this chance I've been given.
Thank you all for taking a stand, and thank you all for saying yes. And now, before we get to the performance part of the show, I first want to ask some members of our staff to join us on stage. Can we have Masalso Chiuma and Yanni Bridges and B.T. Taylor and Estella Holman? And it's also my pleasure to introduce to everybody Yvonne Faro from the Mayor's Office.
Thank you. Good afternoon, family. It's an honor to be here on this 20th anniversary of Spirit Awakening Foundation. My name is Yvonne Farrow. I'm a constituent service representative in the office of Mayor Eric Garcetti. But I come from the arts and entertainment industry, and that is where I met Akuyo Graham. She and I were young actors, and we had the privilege of being produced by a woman who was a publicist and producer, and she only chose the most special works. Gay was a victim of childhood sexual abuse. She never found her own voice in all of her years, but she would choose productions that spoke to her and allowed her to release what she was feeling inside. It's so great to hear what the children are doing in this program by writing themselves. It's a miracle, because she didn't have the strength to do that, and she didn't have the trust in herself. But the one thing that Akuyo and I got to witness as she made her transition from cancer was the healing that took place in her life. I know right now that Gay is standing right here and proud of the work that Akuyo has done. I know she'd be right here clapping right along with you all. So it is my honor and privilege to read this certificate of recognition, one to the foundation and one to Akuyo Graham herself, from the office of Mary Eric Garcetti. City of Los Angeles, certificate of recognition is hereby presented to Akuyo Graham. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles, I am pleased to recognize the 20 years of meaningful service which has played a critical part in the movement to providing services for some of our most vulnerable youth foster, sex-trafficked girls, homeless and incarcerated children. Spirit Awakening Foundation has offered an opportunity for these victims to live in a safe place inside and out in the City of Los Angeles. With best wishes for continued success, Mayor Eric Garcetti.